Governor Fallin, thanks for being here.
It's good to be with you.
So before the horrific ambush in Dallas, the nation was focused on these two fatal shootings of African-American men, one in Minnesota, one in Louisiana. The former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, he went on Facebook on Friday with Van Jones, and they discussed the issue of race in America. Take a listen.
It is more dangerous to be black in America. It's both more dangerous because of crime, and which is the Chicago story, but it is more dangerous in that they're substantially more likely to end up in a situation where the police don't respect you and where you could easily get killed.
Do you agree with former Speaker Gingrich?
Well, I think we certainly have a great concern in America with the black community about crime, about certainly our police forces, and of course we had a horrendous terrible tragedy in Dallas this past week. But we should have justice for all, and if there is any question that there's any injustice for black people, African American, or anyone, then it should always be fully investigated. And I'll give you an example. Over the past year in the state of Oklahoma, we had a police officer in our city who had been accused of raping women as a police officer. They had a hearing, they prosecuted him, and they sent him to prison. We had another reserve officer out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, who shot a gentleman, and he was prosecuted. He's in prison right now. And so I think it is important that we look at any particular claim of injustice, that we listen to the concerns of the black community, but we must also respect and honor our men and women who are serving in the police forces across our nation, law enforcement, who protect us and keep us safe.
Donald Trump released a video on Friday talking about racial healing. Take a listen.
The deaths of Alton Sterling in Louisiana and Philando Castile in Minnesota also make clear how much more work we have to do to make every American feel that their safety is protected. Racial divisions have gotten worse, not better.
And obviously you're supporting Donald Trump. I think there are probably some skeptical Americans hearing that message from Mr. Trump about healing the racial divide. Specifically, I've heard from a number of Latino Americans, Muslim Americans, Native Americans, Jewish Americans, African Americans, all expressing concern about some of the things that Donald Trump has said. Talk to them. How do you think he will be able to be a racial healer?
Well, I think the whole nation needs to work together, and certainly as anyone that's our nominee, whether it is Donald Trump, whether it is Secretary Clinton, we all need to work towards unity as a nation and understand that people are scared. They want safe homes, they want safe streets, they want safe communities, they don't want to be profiled, they don't want to be discriminated against. Everyone wants to be treated equal with equal justice for all.
Respectfully, Governor, you didn't answer my question. Do you think Donald Trump has campaigned as a racial healer?
I think he is trying to campaign as a racial healer. I think that has been part of his message. If you watch what he said this week, he talked about how devastating it was for Dallas, how we need to respect our law enforcement, how we need to pray for those who are killed and those who are injured. I think that is his intent. I trust him with his words, and I think we all need to move towards being compassionate, loving, healing, but yet also respecting our law enforcement.
Let's talk about Donald Trump's search for a running mate. On this program back in April, the former Lieutenant Governor of South Carolina floated your name for vice president, and afterwards, Mr. Trump tweeted this: "Great job and advice on CNN. Thank you." You've met with Donald Trump 4 times. You say that you have different personalities but a common passion. Have you provided any documents to the Trump campaign for possible vetting?
I have not been asked for specific documentation, and I have not had a specific conversation with any of his staff about vice president. It's certainly a great honor to be mentioned with numerous other people across our nation. But I have not been asked to provide information.
Back in May, Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort spoke with the Huffington Post about Trump's vice presidential pick. And this is what the Huffington Post reported, quote, "The campaign probably won't choose a woman or a member of a minority group." Paul Manafort said, quote, "In fact, that would be viewed as pandering, I think." So, Governor, if Donald Trump ultimately picks a white man as his running mate, given the idea, let's just assume that all things being equal in terms of all the different qualified possibilities, including yourself, do you think if he picks a white man, would that be missing an opportunity to diversify the ticket and show the country what the Republican Party is truly about?
Well, the Republican Party is a very diverse party. And, you know, I hope first and foremost that in whoever they're looking at for vice president, that they would look at the qualifications, the skill sets, the knowledge, the history, conservative principles and values, that they would not judge a vice presidential candidate based upon their sex, man or woman.
Governor Mary Fallin, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Always good to see you.
Always good to see you too. Thank you.